There's a footprint, carved into stone, at the top of a mountain that pierces the clouds. It's bigger than a human foot. Too perfect, too strange. Buddhists say it was Buddha. Muslims say Adam, but no one knows for sure. Every morning, the mountain casts a flawless triangle across the land, pointing to a place no compass can explain. Millions climb it, some barefoot, some crawling, some never return. So what is this mountain? A miracle? A warning? Or the first step of something we've forgotten? What could be so compelling about this particular mountain? Why does its peak draw more than 10 million pilgrims from all over the world? Let's find out in today's episode. This is a mountain called Adam's Peak or Sri Lanka. It's famous for a rock at its summit that looks exactly like a footprint. But there's a catch. No one knows who it belongs to. This mystery has made it one of the holiest sites in Sri Lanka, drawing millions of pilgrims from all walks of life who come here seeking enlightenment and salvation. Different religions have different beliefs about whose footprint it is. Buddhists say it's Buddha's. Hindus say it's Shiva's. Muslims believe it's Adam's. And some Christians say it's St. Thomas's. But the sad truth is, we'll never know for sure because it's impossible to verify these claims. What we do know is that ancient civilizations all over the world used to build myths around eclipses. They didn't understand what they were, so they imagined them as gods getting into fights. So is this mountain related to eclipses somehow? Well, it does cast a perfect triangular shadow at sunrise, most clearly seen during the equinoxes when the sun is directly above the equator. At this time, the mountain's shadow points precisely to the North Star, Polaris, which is located at the North Pole. But what's even stranger is that this shadow doesn't point north as one might expect, but to a pivot point 11 degrees east. Now, this may seem like a trivial detail, but it's actually quite significant because 11 degrees east is considered a sacred direction in several ancient cultures. For example, in India, the 4 directional points, plus the 8 intermediate directions, make up the 360 degrees of a circle. But there are also 2 additional points that are not directions, but rather considered pivotal points, Ishan Konasana and Paschimottanasana, which lie 11 degrees east and west of the first directional point. These 2 points are considered to be the pivot points of the universe. Ishan Konasana represents the source of creation, while Paschimottanasana represents the ultimate goal of existence. Now, these pivot points are mentioned in ancient Hindu texts such as the Puranas and the Mahabharata. They are also found in other cultures, such as the Aztecs, who had a similar concept of a central axis that connected the earth to the heavens. But how did these ancient people know about these points? How did they know that the earth was round? How did they know that the sun revolved around the earth? Did they have spaceships? Did aliens tell them? Well, we don't know for sure. But we do know that they were very observant of the sky and the earth. They saw the stars move in patterns. They saw the seasons change, and they saw the shadows shift. They recorded their observations and passed them down to future generations. That's how they developed their knowledge and their myths. So is this mountain related to astronomy somehow? Well, it does line up with Polaris perfectly during the equinoxes. But what's even stranger is that it also lines up with another star, a little-known star called Thuban, which was the North Star 3,000 years ago. Coincidence? Maybe. But if you look at this footprint up close, you'll notice something else. It has 7 indentations, exactly the same number as the 7 natural streams that flow down the mountain from its summit. These streams are not just any streams. They are believed to have healing powers. Legend says that when Adam was banished from the Garden of Eden after eating the forbidden fruit, he stumbled and fell, leaving behind his footprints on the peak of this mountain. And when he reached down to pick himself up, 7 stones came off and rolled down the mountain, creating 7 springs. Each spring is said to have miraculous healing properties. Pilgrims come from all over to bathe in these waters and drink from them. They say it can cure all sorts of ailments, from physical illness to mental anguish. And who are we to question their faith? Adam's Peak, also called Sri Pada in Sinhala, is one of the most spiritual places on earth. Thousands of pilgrims climb it every day, some barefoot, some even crawling. Most arrive at sunrise. Sunrise is the best time to climb to the top, because then you can see the shadow of the mountain, which legend says points to the direction of Mecca. The journey is long and arduous, but the pilgrims don't seem to mind. They come from all walks of life, rich and poor, young and old, healthy and sick. All they have in common is their faith and their desire to reach the summit before sunrise. According to Buddhist tradition, Buddha visited Sri Lanka 5 times during his lifetime, and on one of those occasions, he left behind one of his footprints on the peak of Adam's Mountain. In fact, according to legend, there are 4 main peaks in Sri Lanka where Buddha left behind footprints, but Adam's Peak is considered the most sacred of them all. There's even an inscription on a boulder near the footprint that reads, "Here stands the sacred footprint of the Lord Buddha." But despite this claim, the history of the site is murky and contested. We don't know when it became a place of pilgrimage, but we do know that it was already mentioned in ancient texts such as the Mahavamsa, the Dipavamsa, and the Sanaspatha Dipika. These texts describe it as a sacred site visited by pilgrims from India and Southeast Asia. The footprint itself is surrounded by a temple that was built in 1848. The temple is dedicated to Buddha, but it also has shrines for other deities such as Vishnu, Shiva, and even St. Thomas. Inside the temple, there are statues of Buddha, Shiva, and 2 angels. Above the main altar, there is a painting of Adam kneeling before God. Outside the temple, there are many shops and stalls selling flowers, incense, candles, and other religious items. The temple is open to all visitors, regardless of their religion or caste. People come from all over to see the footprint and pay their respects. Many of them walk around it clockwise, which is considered the sacred direction of movement. Some of them leave offerings such as flowers, fruits, and money. Others chant prayers or sing hymns. All of them are filled with awe and wonder as they contemplate the mystery of the footprint. And here's one more interesting fact. Adam's Peak is not just a religious site. It's also a botanical garden. The mountain is covered with lush vegetation, including tea plantations, rubber plantations, forests, and grasslands. There are many endemic species of plants and animals that can only be found here. One of the most notable ones is the Sri Lankan blue magpie. The mountain is also home to 7 natural streams that are believed to have healing powers. These streams flow down the mountainside and form beautiful waterfalls. One of the most impressive ones is the Bambarakonda Falls, which is the highest waterfall in Sri Lanka. As we've seen, Adam's Peak is a place of pilgrimage for millions of people from all over the world. They come here seeking enlightenment, salvation, health, or simply peace. They may not know who left the footprint there, but they know that it's a sign of something divine, something that connects them to the past and the present, to the earth and the sky, to themselves and to each other. So, what do you believe? Did Adam really climb this mountain? Or was he cast out for something far greater, for daring to reach beyond the garden? For chasing knowledge instead of blind obedience? For choosing free will over silence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If this story made you pause, question, or feel something, hit that like button and subscribe to IQ Bytes for more journeys into the unknown. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next story.